Thanks very much for joining us for this edition of the Intermodal Logistics Podcast. I'm Kevin Baxter, joined by my co-host, Intech Logistics President, Shelly Austin. Hey, Shelly.
Hey, Kevin.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Good to be back.
Rick's kept the seat warm for you for a while,
I
but
know.
Yeah.
I'm back in
Nice
action.
to have you back. And we're talking about it's kind of your bread and butter a little bit with IANA. You've been heavily involved there for a while, and we are talking about the bread and butter of the IANA calendar coming up with EXPO in about a month from when we record this. And to do so, we welcome IANA President Ann Reinke and IANA VP of Member Services, Hal Pollard. And Hal, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having us. I appreciate it. This is actually going to be my first Expo as the president and CEO. So I'm going to talk all the time since it's my first one. And I'm joking, of course. Shelly, you and Hal are going to tutor me as to what I should be expecting here. But I'm very excited about it.
You spoiled one of the questions I was going to ask you already by telling everyone that it was your first one already.
Okay, so ask the question and see if I answer it differently.
To be fair, as president and CEO, you have attended
as president and
Expo.
CEO. That's a fair point. Yes.
Very, very good point.
Yeah, it's great to be here, guys. Thanks for having us back. It's always a treat to see you both.
Thank you. And so I guess we'll back up and start with the overview. And since Hal, you've been doing this for a bit, how about you start with giving us the sort of broad strokes of EXPO?
Absolutely. Well, it's the as you alluded to, it's sort of the peak of the intermodal calendar. Not only is it the single largest intermodal gathering of the year, it also is taking place in what was traditionally known as peak season. Some may argue that it's making a resurgence, or it's just resting, but we love to have folks out. We'll be back in Long Beach again this year from Sunday, September 14th through Wednesday, September 17th. It's a jam-packed agenda, as Shelly can attest. We go kind of from sun up to sundown and then some, but we attract about 2,000 industry leaders to Long Beach. That takes place over those days. We've got educational sessions, well over 12 hours of educational programming, and that's just in our meeting room. That doesn't count the dialogue box, which is down on the exhibit show floor. And one of the other things that makes Intermodal Expo unique is that it does have an exhibition component. So not only are there a lot of varied and interesting educational discussions, there's committee meetings. We have a lot of governance activities taking place, but we also have a show floor where folks get to meet the providers, whether it's a modal partner, it's a 3PL partner, it's a supplier of goods or services to the industry. They get to meet them face to face and talk about what their needs are and what's happening in the industry. So it's a pretty unique and exciting hive of activity during the afternoons of Tuesday and Wednesday of the event. We kick off on Sunday with the beginning of the academic challenge, which is another thing that's close to Shelly's heart. It's part of the IANA scholarship program, which is something that we could probably do an entire episode on, because I love talking about it.
I would agree.
And I know Shelly loves talking about it. She's been a board member and the chair of that committee in the past, and makes a real difference. We've got 15 schools currently in our program, 14 undergraduate programs. We have given over $6 million away to support education. So we're really excited about that program. And we kick off our event with a academic challenge, which is a case competition where schools send teams to compete against one another in a case that we have created for us that they'll never have seen before. So it's a very exciting time. It's a really fun time for the students. It's a little nerve-wracking, but in a good way. It's great. Contact time. A lot of our board members, Shelley included, get to come out and judge that competition. So it's very exciting, and it continues to grow. It's so large now that it'll spill over into Monday. But we kick it off on Sunday. Monday, we have a number of committee activities. Our board will meet. So there's a lot of governance happening on Monday, as well as some tours that folks can sign up for. And then Tuesday and Wednesday, we start off each day with a morning of education and then an afternoon in the exhibit hall. And we'll have a number of receptions for folks to meet, greet, and get to know their colleagues. But some amazing education that I can dig into in a little bit. But I think high points, we'll be talking a lot about cargo theft and fraud. We'll be talking a lot about AI in logistics. We'll be talking a lot about greening technologies and how those continue to evolve and continue to be an important part of our discussions in intermodal, which is, of course, the green mode for freight. So with that, I'll press pause because I don't want to just keep going because I could all day. I love it. It's a high point of my year. But yeah, that's the snapshot of EXPO for folks that haven't been able to come before.
Wow, that was very good, Hal. You just wrapped it all up. That was awesome. No,
Good talking to you. I'll see you later.
Yeah. No, I share in your excitement, as everybody knows. I mean, this is the highlight, right? This is the time of the year that we always look forward to, and we get to see everybody. And I don't know, but I feel like there's a lot more energy and a lot more excitement in our industry for EXPO this year. And it may just be me because I'm biased to the whole thing. But it just feels like early on and even now, I'm having more and more people reach out to me asking me if I'm going. My Monday feels like it's actually going to fall into the ocean because I literally can't find another spot on my Monday. It's like triple booked for every time slot, which is it's usually like speed dating. Now I think it's marathon. But no, marathon slower. I don't know. But it's really crazy this year. And are you guys feeling that same kind of excitement and kind of resurgence of what this used to be?
Well, I will say this. There are a lot of national headlines, and we don't have to tell each other what they all are, but there are a lot of national headlines that have put intermodal right up in the forefront of the discussion. And so if you think about the future of the intermodal industry, it would seem to behoove you to be part of this, assortment of folks who know what they're talking about as it relates to intermodal. It's like, how lucky am I, in a sense, to come into the Intermodal Association when everything that is important to intermodal is happening, right? The fate of the international container traffic, the fate of the railroad industry and what will happen to it. And so it's wonderful and rewarding to hear kind of talking heads talking about the impacts to the intermodal industry and intermodal freight market. I think that to your point, is sort of helps provide the energy and the excitement because we can actually talk about that knowledgeably.
Yeah, I love it. And you're right. We aren't lack of any topic or entertainment for what we want to all talk about when we're there. So I think it's exciting. It's there's history in the making in intermodal, and we're all there to be a part of it.
Right.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. And I do think that, we've done a number of things to make the experience a little different, a little more lively, a little more exciting. And I think folks are genuinely look forward to that opportunity to meet their colleagues face to face, where they all too frequently are, looking at each other from a screen, and they forget that, there's something on the lower half of the torso and below, right? I think there's a really good opportunity, and we certainly provide that. There's a number of networking opportunities, but Ann is spot on. Man, to live in interesting times, well, just wake up and roll out the door and head on over to EXPO, because we'll be talking about a lot of really interesting things.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I want to point out. And I've been in fault of this myself, because it is an opportunity for us to meet with so many people that we don't get to meet with face to face, whether it be customers or carriers or railroads or, everybody in the industry, equipment, and so on and so forth. But what do you guys recommend? Because I think what people get lost in is they don't take in enough of the content that IANA is bringing to the table. And there's been a lot of work to make sure that it's definitely useful, interesting, and impactful. And I think they'll be very surprised at some of the things that come about. And I don't want everybody to lose that by getting, stuck in all these meetings that are outside of it. So what do you guys recommend on the best way to navigate, getting the best of both worlds?
Shelley, you're pulling on something that we keenly feel. So I'll start and then I'll turn it over to Hal. Look, there's an incredible, as you mentioned, an incredible networking opportunity, because anyone you care to talk to in the intermodal industry is going to be there. And if there are ways to assist your relationships, if there are ways to finesse a negotiation or what have you, what a great venue. That being said, the reason for being there is there's an actual meeting going on, and we're trying to provide the best content that we can that's actually relevant to your business. So Hal touched on it. One of the things that we've heard since, we've been talking about in my past job, but have been talking about here this whole year, is cargo theft. And so we are putting together a panel of people who have developed resources and ideas and best practices that can assist. And what better, place to be if you're having an issue where you're like, I feel like I'm on an island. Where am I going to get assistance? This is killing my business. Well, you have an opportunity to have that discussion. So we don't want to not provide a venue for people to have meetings, because that's important. Although, Shelley, on Monday, you do have a board meeting you have to go to, so do not forget that. Okay.
I promise.
All right.
I promise. I told you Monday, like, whoa.
I understood. But that being said, we have paid a great deal of attention about what is on the minds of our members. And if one of those is cargo theft, another is AI, if we are putting that much energy and attention on it, it's because we think it's actually going to help. And so if we can provide that opportunity for people who don't necessarily have an opportunity to talk about that every day because they're doing their day job, then I would hope that they would take advantage of that.
Excellent. No, I like the focus there. And I mean, that definitely helps. We might have to get to where we have some folks, sitting around and it's kind of like the school guidance counselor, where somebody goes up and says, this is what I'm focused on. And we help people with kind of the ones they want to see. But I think it's really important. So without, leaking any surprises that we shouldn't expose on here, is it anything, Hal, that is new and exciting this year that maybe is a little different from last year?
Well, I'll roll back and say, be on the lookout. We're going to be reaching out with the conference app. So once you've registered, you'll get notice to download the app. I would strongly encourage everybody to download it. It is the easiest way to make the most use of your time at Expo. It gives you an opportunity to connect with everybody that's registered, gives you an opportunity to schedule things, connect with other people through the app itself, and have the full schedule there of all the events. So I think that's something that's important to mention. It's really your kind of key to maximizing your time there. I do think that we've taken an interesting approach with a couple of these topics where you will see them kind of thread themselves through very granular, kind of almost one-on-one discussions of some of the topics at the committee meetings. And then we'll have some concurrent sessions, breakout sessions that will dig a little bit deeper. And then we'll have some general sessions that connect the dots. So cargo theft is a great example of we've got programming at each of those steps along the way, kind of peaking. And I do want to tease this a little bit, but Ann Milgram, who was the former head of the DEA, will be speaking. And you may say to yourself, DEA, Drug Enforcement Administration, what's that about, Hal? Well, I'll tell you, it's become very clear that a significant driving force behind cargo theft is the drug cartels. And the drug cartels are using cargo as both a means of generating income and a means of transporting contraband. whether that's drugs or it's actually stolen goods or weapons that they use to further their business. So one of the significant ways to counteract cargo theft is to approach it from a systematic process. And the way that and the drug-related crimes in the U.S. Were approached by the DEA under Ann's leadership were very unique and had significant and dramatic impacts on the reduction of those activities, really getting into the heads of the cartels and breaking those up. So we're going to be able to have a unique opportunity to sort of pick her brain and really kind of understand how we can look at it from a systematic problem, which it is. If this isn't a one-off, 1 yard in Memphis is getting picked on. This is a national, international business. So there's some things like that I think are going to be unique this year, where there's some through threads that you'll see in a couple of different ways, greening as well. But I think you're right. It's going to be a little challenging for folks to be able to pick their adventure. And one of the best ways I would say, and I know you guys do this at Intech, is send a few people, because you're not going to be able to be in 4 different breakout rooms at the same time. And I can tell you, you're probably going to want to be in at least 3 of them. And I'm biased. I'm bummed because I can't go to all of them myself. So I would say, think about that. Send a few people, kind of divide and conquer and compare notes, because there's a lot of really important information that I think will be super useful for folks.
Excellent.
So let's back up. You teased it a bit with the case competition. You said 50 schools this year. How has that grown over the time that you've been doing this? And tell us a little bit more about what goes into what they do when they get there, and then how it does go from the Sunday to the Monday now.
So the scholarship program was started by our former president and CEO, Joanne Casey, or affectionately known as Joni. And the scholarship bears her name now. And I think that was a fitting tribute by the board to really honor the incredible dedication that she had in building that next generation of intermodal leaders. And it's been going on for 15 years. We have built up over time from a single school to now 15, and we're about to add a couple more. We've got a graduate program. We've got a non-traditional program that's run out of Cal State Long Beach, which is fascinating. An interesting aside: they have a unique connection with Cabrillo High and the Academy of Global Logistics, which is a sort of a school that really takes logistics and uses it as a lens to educate high school students. So we participate along with Cal State Long Beach and the Port of Long Beach to support that program. And we get to actually bring some of those students over. So we'll probably bring 60 or 70 of those students over to Intermodal EXPO as well. So there's even a sort of a unique aspect to that, where we've got folks from high school through undergraduate, graduate programs, and I'll touch on it a little bit, but we've got a future leaders program now. But the academic challenge grew from just having a few schools sort of discussing topics to growing into a full-blown case competition where they arrive on site. We provide them with a case and they begin to work it. And they have a fixed amount of time where they work that case. They'll build a presentation that's a response to the case itself. And this comes straight from sort of Harvard Business School model of working cases for developing deep knowledge and the ability to take thorny questions and work them and work in a team and present a business case outcome. Pardon me. So they have a fixed amount of time. They turn in their presentations. Those presentations are ranked by a group of judges. And then the top 3 contenders come back and will present a sort of a defense of their case. And they'll be kind of grilled by professionals in the industry. And I got to be honest, I would not want to be those students, but every single year I am amazed by how professional and well prepared and dedicated they are for something that they just learned about a few hours beforehand, right? But they defend those cases, and then the judges will make a difficult decision to award a winner. But we'll be recognizing those top 3 finishers this year. But yeah, it's a very it's exciting. Shelley is judged before, and she knows that it can be a really difficult decision to figure out how to pick a winner. But the association has dedicated itself to educating folks throughout their life cycle in the industry, attracting folks. What we've realized, and this is where the scholarship really came from, is that we really need to get folks excited about the wonders, if you will, of logistics and intermodal at an early age. And that's really what that program does. And I think it's been very successful, and we love how it's growing. And we're moving things around to try to make room for it, because EXPO, as Shelley alluded to, is jam packed with stuff. So, but it's absolutely well worth it.
Yeah. From a judge perspective, as Hal mentioned, it's probably the highlight of my expo. I love everything at Expo. I really do. But this one is exciting because you do get to see the future of what's coming into the intermodal community. And what's so much fun is like these cases, we're not talking about, stupid cases that you may get in a college course, or I'm not saying those are stupid, but we're talking about real life situations that we all as working individuals deal with on a daily basis. Those are the types of cases that these kids are getting, and they are complicated. There's no exact right answer. There's a good direction of the answer, but there's no exact right answer. And what I like about it is we changed it a while back, and I don't remember what year we changed it, but they used to have a lot more time to prepare on these cases. And now what I love about this is it literally is an exact replica of what we deal with on a daily basis, because we don't have time to prepare for any of this mess that we deal with in our industry. I mean, as everybody knows, it changes daily. Of what we have to deal with. And these students, that's what they have to do, is they have to think on the fly of exactly what was presented to them and how would they immediately put together a solution to solve it. And as Hal mentioned, probably my favorite is the second round that comes through with the ones that have been narrowed down in the last few schools. And it is up to the judges to make it a little bit difficult on them and the questions that we ask them. And it is amazing how they can think very quickly on the fly and respond with some very good answers.
But you've been one of the grillers then.
I guess, if that's what you call it, yes.
So we talked about the case competition. That'll go into the beginning of the Monday section as well. What else is happening on Monday? I went through the agenda a little bit. I know you've got the meetings that are happening, the important business of IANA. But there's also some things for people who are just arriving, who are maybe not taking part in those meetings.
So there is a tour that we're putting on that folks can do. Also, we've got 3 standing committees that I think might be sort of the unsung heroes of the association. They are the sort of activity of the association in full 3D, if you will. We have the Safety and Security Committee meeting first off out of the gate on Monday at 8 a.m. That's going to be followed by the Operations Committee. And then the Maintenance and Repair Committee is going to be wrapping up at 11. So those go in fairly rapid succession, but they're a great opportunity to be part of a discussion around the real nuts and bolts issues of the industry. And they're tackling some very thorny issues right at the moment, from the cost of the rising costs of maintenance and repair due to impacts of tariffs and sourcing, to safety and security, is tackling cargo theft operations, is handling all sorts of different interesting issues around technology and visibility and information sharing, and getting us all speaking the same digital language so that we can exchange information. So there's a number of things there that I think folks will really be excited about. And of course, our welcome reception, which is a really fun way to get everybody together, and raise a glass to the year that's passed, and kind of what's happening in the industry at any given time. So that's always a hoot.
So we talked a little bit about the concurrent sessions, but we also have general sessions that everyone is able to get to, unless your day is packed with other side meetings. But again, got to have those balances.
Got to have those balances.
So Shelley, you're involved in the first one on Tuesday, which Anne, you teased already. There's a little bit to talk about at the state of intermodal in general right now, and that's sort of what you're going to be covering.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it's an honor to be a part of what kicks everything off, and I think that there'll be some really good content. Even though you got me up there's really smart people, and I think everybody will enjoy it. So, Anne,
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, and then of course we have to remember we're awarding notables of the industry, and we can't talk about who they are because it's going to be a shock to everybody as to who receives the Silver Kingpin Award. And I want you to be there front row to make sure you see who gets it.
It's exciting.
It really is. Yeah, that's a great kickoff session. Inside Intermodal is always, it can be a challenging way to start a meeting because depending on what's going on in the industry and the world, and we certainly have that now, but we also have great experts to help make sense of it. And Adrian Bailey from Oliver Wyman is going to be holding down moderator duties this year, which is really great having Adrian back.
How can I interrupt you for a second? If you were
please.
at the Kansas City meeting, our business meeting, Adrian Bailey gave a presentation, and let me just say, could she have been more foresightful about what is happening? And I don't mean to be vague or anything like that. I'm just, she had predicted either we're going to have some revenue growth from an intermodal perspective, or we're going to seek efficiencies. The railroads are going to seek efficiencies. So she touched on this sort of transcontinental merger idea. So I raised that because how better place she's going to be in this grouping at the beginning, and she knows what she's talking about. She can see in the future. It's enormously beneficial to hear what she has to say, and that she's part of the session is a huge benefit to us.
Absolutely, yeah. He is, and you're absolutely right in reminding me of that. A little jaw dropping, really, when you think about how prescient she was. And we're going to underpin that with Larry Gross, who is the intermodalist, the sort of our own analyst, Tim DeNoyer from ACT Research, who's going to be bringing the sort of the trucking community perspective to the table, and then of course Lars Jensen, who is probably the preeminent ocean analyst, and our very own Shelley Austin, who is going to be holding down what's happening in the 3PL space. And I think that's that kind of rounds it out. It's a great way to kick off the meeting.
Yeah, I mean, subject matter is, obviously you're in Long Beach, so you've got the imports, the container shipping right there. You look out the window. There's not a window in every room that you're in, but and then obviously the rail merger is pretty top of mind for everybody right now, and the implications of that beyond. And so, yeah, that's probably a session that you could stretch the entire conference through with all that you could cover right there. But it's a great way to kick it off, and then you go into the first bit of those concurrent or breakout sessions, as you said, which you've talked about a couple of the topics, but what are those first few that people can choose from when they're sort of planning out their day?
So right after the that first general session, which is always a kind of an interesting gear shift when people go into the concurrence, we've got one on AI. What are the 4 pillars of AI for intermodal, which is really kind of breaking it down and cutting through some of the BS, frankly, about AI and really looking at intermodal as the industry and how can AI be applied specifically. Cargo theft is going to be one of the first topics out of the gate. We're going to be taking a look at intermodal at the crossroads, which is sort of a really kind of interesting topic to have, particularly now. Tony Hatch always delivers some interesting conversation, and boy, does he have a whole fresh bag of fun stuff to whip out and talk about. So that's going to be a pretty amazing. And then one that I'm really interested in is from chaos to clarity, business development in turbulent times. And it's really timely. A lot of folks are saying, man, this freight drought's really putting a dent in how much I'm enjoying this industry right at the moment. And we're mindful of that and put together a session to help people really focus on, what's the best way to do biz dev when times are tough. So I think that's going to be a really interesting one as well. So it's I think an interesting mix and a good selection of things for folks to dig into and start conversations about intermodal.
Okay, and then the other big piece of the conference, and something that you mentioned already a bit, is the actual exhibition floor, where you have a lot of activity happening there, and that opens around noon, I believe, on the Tuesday. So what can people expect there?
Before you chime in, I think we all want to make sure that there is energy and enthusiasm on the expo floor, because people, they spend a lot of time and sweat equity and all of that, making sure they have a presence on that floor. And why do they do that? Because they want to make sure that they either talk to existing customers or attract new customers, right? And so what we're trying to do is ensure that there is a large cohort of people who come to the exhibit floor, not because they feel pressure, but because there's actually a really good opportunity for them to meet with those folks and to learn from those folks. But also there are other things going on there. It's so critical for us to prove the ROI for our folks are being there. And so that to us is one of the things we want to showcase. Like, there is a reason that you need to be on that expo floor. So with that precursor, Hal, tell them why they need to be on that expo floor.
You nailed it. It's again, it's a unique environment in all of the industry. We have over 60,000 square feet of exhibits, 140-ish folks there, from you name it, it's there. Equipment providers, leasers, manufacturers, service providers, modal partners, you name it, they're there. We also have some interesting things like the dialogue box, which gives folks an opportunity to have a shorter, focused conversation with experts on different topics. We've also got a lot of fun things going on, frankly. We've got some unique lunch experiences or food experiences there that I think folks will really be interested in kind of mixing up their day with some fun things, including this year it's a focus on North America. So we've got three different, the 3 countries have their own unique areas. We've also got some simply fun stuff, like we'll have some puppies. Who doesn't like puppies? We'll have a puppy park, but
I know Shelly likes puppies. I know Shelly.
Sign me up. I'll be there.
Yeah, but we just, they're a lot of folks. You're absolutely right, Ann. Put a lot into it, and you see incredibly qualified. I mean, that's an interesting thing that makes Intermodal Expo unique as well is those 2,000 odd folks are high level, qualified folks that come in and really know their stuff, and they can make decisions, and they can speak very in an informed way about the industry. So you're absolutely right. It's really in many ways it's education and networking all combined, because I challenge somebody to walk through the exhibit floor and not have a really interesting conversation and learn something and really kind of walk away going, wow, I had no idea that folks were doing that.
And that's open both days, the Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah, both afternoons. Yeah. And then, we round off each day in the exhibit hall with a happy hour event to kind of celebrate the end of that and move folks on to their evenings of probably more networking, right? As Shelley said, it doesn't stop.
It never stops. It never stops. That's right. Well, one of the things that I highly recommend to any newcomers that are going to the expo is, well, first of all, I think we need to put notice to the IANA staff, because there's so many people that go into making this thing phenomenal. And I don't think people ever really realize how much goes into it. But with that being said, there's a lot of staff that are there present at Expo and always willing to help. And I think that we have all this excitement now in the industry, and we really need to utilize that. And if anybody's kind of getting lost in trying to figure out how they navigate and what they need to do or where resources are, I think it would be very suited to reach out to one of the IANA staff members, because they're always very, very helpful and accommodating for doing those types of things. My only other recommendation is make sure you wear the right shoes. I can't tell you how many times I have packed Band-Aids because I didn't wear the right shoes. And I finally have learned after all these years that it's not what your feet look like. It's the comfort, because there is no way you get around not walking the most steps that you're going to have. I mean, if you want to count your steps, you make it this expo. That's where you're getting your biggest number of steps. So that's my recommendation.
Can I make a request?
Yes.
So as Hal intimated, I have been to this expo before, but in a different capacity, in two different capacities. I've not been here as president and CEO. I'm requesting you invite me to everything, because if you're having something, I want to know. I want to get to know everybody. Like, this is a fabulous opportunity for me. I've already met. Hal's been with me on some of these member visits. Shelley, you see me, right? I want to go out there and do that. This is an incredible opportunity. So if you're having something and you think, oh, she'll be too busy, I don't know if I'm going to be too busy. You should just invite me to this, because then I can get to know you and get to meet you. How am I ever going to understand the membership if I don't meet with the members, right? So to anyone hearing this podcast, please invite me to your stuff.
Love it. Love it.
And you are taking part. Oh, go ahead. Yep.
No, I was just going to say that the staff is great, and we are all really excited to have Anne bring her energy and her insight and her creativity to the table. It's really it's been wonderful, and we are. We'll save it for another episode, but IANA's really pulling out all the stops. We've got a lot of new programs that we're bringing online that we'll be able to announce fairly soon. We're dialing up our presence in a lot of areas that you'll see, and I think we'd be really excited about. And Anne's, significantly responsible for that. So, I think, I share her excitement. It's really like, I can't wait.
Probably don't have time to cover every little last bit of this here. I know there's another general session that'll again get into industry talk, and you're taking part in that on Wednesday. Hal, did you want to shout out who was involved in that one too?
Well, Anne is going to honor us by being a panelist.
I'm a panelist. They asked me to be a panelist.
It's because in addition
to being, an MC here and there, I'm going to be a panelist.
Yeah. Andrew Leffler, armchair lawyer, is going to be holding down moderation responsibilities for an exciting, I think, update on our industry partners. So we've got folks like IANA. We've got folks like Carrie from AAPA. We've got folks from U.S. Chamber. So I think we've got a lot of really interesting angles of discussion that folks will be able to glean some interesting insights collectively, right? And we were going to have Ann moderate, but then we said, you know what, it's a waste of her knowledge. So we want to put her on that panel and grill her.
No, we found a better moderator is the answer. We did. He's going to be great. Matthew Leffler, I don't know if you all know him. He's so fun. So he's going to have so much energy. It's going to be awesome.
10 out of 10, highly recommend.
Mm-hmm. And finally, I mean, we've talked about the awards close, the actual awards ceremony. The Connie Awards closes everything, but before that close of the event, you have a closing speaker as well. In the middle of the day. Tell us about Royal Ramey.
He is a fascinating character. He created a foundation that helps move folks from being incarcerated into being firefighters, and he kind of lives his own message because that's the journey that he took. And as we know, the wildfires, particularly in California, which is where Royal comes from, have been incredibly devastating. And if only for the incredible efforts of folks like Royal and his crews have gotten a handle on these things and saved lives and saved property and kept them from getting a lot worse. So it's a really interesting journey, but also really compelling just story about making things happen. And in this industry, sometimes you really just have to have the fortitude to say, I am going to make this happen. And Shelley can relate because there was a time when she was like, boy, maybe I should start my own business. And they went out and they made it happen. And look where they are now, right? So I think it's a really, it's an uplifting story, but it's also not just feel good. It's really, there's a lot of info that I think you will be able to take from Royal's conversation that is really meaningful and useful in your business.
So I think we've, as much as we've talked about things, I think we still just kind of scratched the surface. We will be there as a podcast. A few other podcasts will be joining us too. Yeah, so we're excited to take it in and talk to some folks ourselves on air and live in person. As you said, Hal, we'll get to see below the torso for a few people. We've been doing most of these this way. So excited to do that and to talk to some people that we know and some people that maybe we don't know yet in the industry that will be there.
Yeah, we're really excited about the podcast studio that we'll be doing with yourselves and a number of other folks in the space. We wanted to do it for a little while. We did it in various forms, but this is the first time we've really got a large number of folks really giving a sort of an interesting insight across the board, right? And reaching out to a very large audience, talking about intermodal, and what better place to do it than Intermodal Expo, where everybody comes to do business and exchange information. So we're super excited. And I know that Ann is going to be crazy busy, but I bet that she'll make some time to talk to you guys.
Yeah. You consider this an invitation. All right. You
all
already,
right. I already told you I'm going to accept every invitation. Yeah. If you invite me to something, I'm going.
Yes. I'm excited. Yeah. I'm ready to go. Yeah. I'll even take that long flight. I'm ready. Let's do it.
So, yeah, well, Shelley, you only sleep like 3 hours a day, so it's no big deal.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
So to close, for people who have been watching, listening, are interested, how do people go if they haven't already booked their tickets and registered?
Glad you asked, Kevin. All they have to do is head over to intermodalexpo.com or intermodal.org if they can't remember, intermodalexpo.com, and they'll be able to register. And if they type in the code partner 25, that's the word partner and the number 2 and the number 5, no space, they will get $100 off of their registration.
Oh,
What?
nice.
Are you
Look at
authorized
that.
to give that out?
Has this been authorized?
I'm doing it. I don't care what they say. Yeah, partner 25, $100
That's like
off.
a secret
and
deal. That's a secret deal.
Yeah. It is. In tech only.
And only found here on In Tech Podcast.
Yeah. We'll make sure to throw that in the description too, and the link as well for people. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. And if they have any questions, have them reach out, because as we've proven, we love talking about it. So we'll
Excellent.
Absolutely. Well, Hal, and thank you very much for joining us on this episode, and best of luck for Expo.
Looking forward to seeing you guys.
Safe travels and see you soon.
The countdown is on. And I think as we, I looked today because I couldn't do the math myself, but there's a countdown clock on the site that says 33 days, and I didn't check how many hours based on when we're actually recording this, but it's actually down to the second.
That's a better countdown than what I'm hearing everybody talk about, how many Saturdays till Christmas. So I'll go with the countdown till Expo.
Too early. Yeah, you got your Halloween stuff in all the stores, and countdown to Christmas.
I know, it's a little scary. Yeah. But
everyone gets so excited about that stuff. But this is like Christmas for Intermodal.
This is Christmas for Intermodal. It's exciting. Yeah. No, it sounds and I wasn't kidding. It just seems like everybody has a lot more excitement. There's a lot to talk about. So I think it is definitely the place to be.
Yeah, we could have just digressed and talked about all there is to talk about. We had a couple people who could help us with that, but maybe another time on that one.
We'll do a recap of the Expo, a pre and post show.
Yes, absolutely. So again, link in the description, and we'll drop in that code there as well, partner 25, for the discount on registration. Again. Coming up in September 14th through the 17th for the IANA Expo. Thank you very much for watching and listening to the Intermodal Logistics Podcast. And thanks again to Hal and Ann for joining us on this edition. Please do subscribe, like, rate, review, follow, any of those things, all of those things, comment also. And you can also email us at podcast@intechlogistics.com with any questions or comments as well. Visit www.intechlogistics.com for more about InTech Logistics. And for Shelley, I'm Kevin. Thanks very much for watching and listening, and we'll be back again soon.